It's been a while since I've tried to upload any videos recently, probably a few months, more than a few months. I've been busy with life and stuff, but some things have been circulating on the YouTube space for a while that I wanted to try my hand at it again. Probably just me rambling about something that I've been seeing recently, and I want to talk about it unscripted, I guess. So, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lydia, also known as the Pup, and I wanted to talk about media, critiques of media, specifically when people who are more left-leaning, when they critique more media that's more right-leaning or conservative media. There's just some stuff that I kind of wanted to talk about after seeing a couple videos. So let's get into it. Okay, so one quick disclaimer, none of this is scripted, it's just me rambling about this thing and that's in my head, so yeah, so be prepared to expect that. So let's do this. So, one thing I've noticed for certain YouTube channels, particularly those that have more left-leaning ideologies, they like to review certain content from conservative media, be it books or TV shows or movies. They like to review them. They like to point out the flaws, why they're bad, why their ideology isn't consistent and whatnot. And I guess that's all fine and good. That's their right to do so. But I kind of notice that for a lot of it, it's just dunking, mostly. Snarking. Just, essentially, I read such and such, so you don't have to. Or I saw such and such on this platform that most people probably don't even know exists. Or if they do, they probably don't actually subscribe to it because of how expensive it is. So you don't have to. And I guess it's all well and good. I know there's a niche audience that wants to watch that kind of content. That's all well and good. But recently, I saw a video on YouTube by Council of Geeks. I do love their content. I enjoy watching it. I think they have some nuanced views every now and again, and this video recently released. I saw it, and I thought they actually made some pretty good points there. So, Council of Geeks mentioned a movie that's currently out in theaters, made by this guy. I'm not really gonna name names or say what or talk about the movie exactly because I haven't seen it. I don't want to. I don't care about the person who made it, really, at all. I don't really care about the movie either, or any of the movies that are being released right now this month. Maybe maybe one or two. I haven't really been to the movies in a while, so anyway, so this channel brought up some pretty good points about, I guess, like the ethics of reviewing certain media. How, yeah, how you can criticize it, you can critique it, you can point out the ideological inconsistencies in it and all. That's fine, but there's probably a point there in it where it just seems kind of not pointless exactly, but more like it's just giving these people attention, clout. They if you know what I'm talking about, like certain groups of people from different political ideologies will produce content, and essentially it feels a lot rage baity when they produce this stuff, I guess, because the one thing I guess I do notice for this kind of content, movies or books or whatever, they mostly do it just to make people on the opposite side angry, or at least that's their primary goal in that case. Like stuff from that platform I mentioned, certain shows or movies that they have produced on that particular platform, they make to make the other side, their political opponents or ideological opponents, angry, supposedly, even though from other places that I've seen, from other content creators I've seen with the opposing ideologies, they not really get mad per se. No, not really get mad, but just it doesn't really bother them, like, the content, because I guess they're not really shocked or anything, or surprised that this kind of stuff is produced. It's just boring, I guess, or probably not worth mentioning at all, even if they do bring it up. I'm kind of rambling a little bit at this point, I guess. So, basically the point is there a line to be drawn when we talk about certain content from certain platforms producing certain media? Like, is there really kind of like a point to talk about it at all, if all it's going to do is just bring attention to these people, just to bring in clout, just to really put eyes on them, make them seem legitimate, I guess? You know, for them, all news is good news to them. It's can't remember what that saying is. I guess all news is good news to them, because it puts eyes on them, makes them legitimate, and I guess to a certain extent makes whatever their beliefs legitimate as well, I guess. And it kind of got me thinking about how I feel about reviewing this type of content when left-leaning content creators, for example, go and review conservative media that, again, is on platforms specific for a more conservative or far-right audience. I've been thinking about it. It just seems kind of pointless, I guess, just because they're not the target audience. Conservative media, their target audience is not going to be like liberal left-minded people. It's just going to be, their target audience more or less is like-minded people, conservative or far-right minded people, I guess. That's really their target audience. And I also feel like confirmation bias is a factor that goes into it when they review this stuff. Like, yeah, we all have our biases. We're all human. But I really don't know how to feel about it. It just feels kind of pointless. I guess one argument for that could be just to know what the opposing side, not just what their ideology is, but also how I think reviewing it kind of gets into the psyche of your opponents, know your enemy and all that old saying. It just, kind of gives you an idea what their mindset, what their psyche is like, so you know so you'll know you'll know how to spot them, or maybe identify certain red flags or dog whistles if you run into someone like that in real life when you're not on the internet, I guess. Also, when it's politically motivated, it gives you an idea what the opposing political side, what they're thinking, what tactics they use and all that. And I'm going to post the video in the link description, by the way, because I think Vera does a better job conveying these thoughts than I am. I'm still working on it, but this is kind of me, like, adding on, like, just because, like, I feel like when leftist creators, I feel like when they review conservative media, again, from either from platforms that are designed for conservative viewers or conservative audiences, I just think it feels kind of pointless because of confirmation bias and also because leftists are not the target audience there. But again, may not be completely pointless just because reviewing this stuff kind of gives you, I guess in some ways gives you a better idea of the psyche of those particular audiences or the people who create that content, I guess. But also at the same time, lending credence to that kind of media gives them legitimacy, and maybe that's not the best way to go about it. Now, this is not to say that I have never enjoyed reviews of that kind of media and stuff. I have, but not always, because if you watch it enough times on enough channels, at some point it just becomes redundant. And so I don't watch it that often from those channels, but there have been a couple cases, been a couple exceptions, I think, that have provided some pretty good points, or maybe subvert the review and use it as a jumping off point for something more bigger picture, I guess, in a way that kind of makes you think. And I'll actually put links in the description to some of those videos that I actually like, that I felt like probably offered more in terms of review compared to other channels, other videos, because I do feel like that those kind of things are a lot more thought-provoking and all that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I don't really have anything else to add. That's just my 2 cents. Maybe when I get a little more time, maybe if I get better at this whole thing, maybe I'll make a video in the future, a scripted video that dives more into that. But until then, I would just go to the links in the description and watch those videos, because I feel like they do a better job articulating what I have to say. Actually, to add on, I feel like part of me actually wonders if it has anything to do with the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm specifically, when we talk about those things. I don't fully understand the algorithm myself, but I know at some level we're all slaves to it when we create content, either on YouTube or, say, on other media-related platforms like TikTok, which I don't use. I don't know if Twitter does something like that. I think it does. I've never done Twitter. I have no desire to go on Twitter, especially now, for obvious reasons. But the algorithm, at least here on YouTube, I wonder if that has anything to do with that. When, let's say conservative platform releases a show, for example, that we've seen, and leftist creators they'll watch it, they'll review it, and when more of them do it, it starts trending, I guess. And thinking about it now, that's probably what I'm doing right now, but I don't know how this is. I don't know how many people are actually going to see this. Probably not that many. But yeah, I don't really have any definitive conclusions or solutions for it. It's just something that I've noticed. Maybe we could have conversations about it. Maybe part of me just wants to say, just ignore that kind of media content altogether on the conservative side, especially if you're not the target audience. But also at the same time, like, I feel like if you do ignore it, then maybe on some level that just gives them I feel like maybe it shouldn't be ignored completely if it's going to be used to influence political or legislative stuff. If that's going to influence that or the on some level, maybe that's a reason we shouldn't ignore it completely. But I don't know. Maybe we should talk about, maybe if we are going to talk about that kind of contact, maybe we should talk about how that might influence things politically or legislatively. Maybe that's how we should frame it if we're going to talk about that stuff, because otherwise it just feels like pointless reviewing, just pointless media, I guess. Not pointless media, but pointless reviewing. That's just how it feels. But yeah, that's all I really got to say on that matter. I really have nothing else to add. It's just something I want to get off my mind, and also if I try and upload maybe a few more stuff in between my busy work schedule, maybe I can get some more views, get more videos out there, get more people to see it, and hopefully I can maybe start building some kind of platform here at this point. I might be a little hypocritical on my part to say that, but I'm not. But as I've said before, I've enjoyed some reviewed content on that type of media. I'm not a saint. I'm not an absolute saint when it comes to watching that kind of stuff. But that's all I gotta say. So if you like what I have. If you like it, like and comment, subscribe, etc. Boost the signal boost, get me into the algorithm, I guess, and enjoy the rest of your day.